Welcome to TEDxUC Irvine. Well, sort of. We're not on the stage, but we can pretend.
Hello, I'm Sir Ken Robinson. Kids are naturally creative, but schools keep educating it out of them.
Well, I'm Simon Sinek. And as you know from my TED Talk, we need to start with the why. Our why is we believe creativity and empathy are essential for children's growth.
When the late, great Sir Ken Robinson did his original TED Talk, I had just graduated from college. I'm an elder millennial, so I was in college when social media was taking off, but I also applied for college using a typewriter. Now, as a K-12 educator, most of my students don't know what a typewriter is. So I tell them it's this ancient metal contraption, which is the reason why all the letters on their phone are all mixed up. Now, Sir Ken's talk is still the most viewed TED Talk of all time, with over 100 million views and counting, because his message still resonates today. Creativity is as important as literacy, especially when the future is unknown. Sadly, Sir Ken passed away before he could see the widespread adoption of generative artificial intelligence tools. Now, given a future where AI might be able to do anything that humans can do, but better, how do we prepare the students of today? Well, one answer is what I do in my day job. I've been running an organization that's taught 25,000 kids how to code. We believe that students should not just be users of technology, but must understand it enough to be creators and decision makers. This requires creativity more than ever. But technical skills are not enough. What else do kids need? Human connection. In a world of advanced AI, what is our competitive advantage? Emotional intelligence, moral reasoning, and above all, empathy. What makes us human is more important than ever.
Now, it's time for the how.
The thick, smoky smell of ash is overpowering, and your horse starts tense. What do you do?
Even though I might be shy in real life, in-game, because I'm playing a courageous fighter, full of strength, but low on wisdom, I rush in.
Sticking out from the humongous master treasure with everything from coins to glistening silver crowns is the king's sword, but right behind it is a huge blinking eye. Roll for initiative!
Now, I roll the dice to see who goes first, me or the dragon. It's a 20, the highest roll possible.
A rush of adrenaline propels you faster than the dragon can react. You go first. What will you do now?
These are my kids at Pretend City Children's Museum here in Irvine, an amazing place where toddlers and preschoolers can try on all kinds of roles, because everyone knows pretend play is great for young kids. And yet, when they get older, when the pull of video games, social media, 24/7 content streaming gets stronger, we put them in rooms with neatly arranged chairs, all facing the front. Not too unlike the classrooms of my childhood, with one big change: the ubiquity of computers. Now, I've been a computer science educator for the past 10 years. I'm not here to criticize computers. But it used to be just one part of the school day. Fast forward, post-COVID, I was talking to a high school student the other day, and she told me that almost all of her schoolwork is now done on a computer. Basically everything except for PE. So kids are at school, spending a lot of the day on a computer, and what do they want to do when they get home? Screen time. Youth are spending, on average, 5 hours a day being entertained by screens. Now, screen time is not the enemy. Digital experiences can and should be designed for children's well-being. I believe in the yes and, leveraging technology while also prioritizing social connection. Pre-pandemic, I helped launch the country's first SMS-based crisis hotline for teenagers. 24/7, young people would be texting us. Things like, I'm lonely. I'm in the bathroom crying. I feel invisible. According to the CDC, anxiety and depression are on the rise among children ages 6 to 17. Now, these are complex issues, but there's one thing we know for sure. Young people should not have to face them alone.
Is it time for dragons yet?
Dungeons & Dragons is the most famous tabletop role-playing game. It's called a tabletop role-playing game, or TTRPG, because a group of people play it face-to-face, sitting around a table. It's not a video game.
Your fifth grader loves something that's not a video game?
I know, it's a high bar. I've played many other games. My first character was a level 3 elf wizard named Kra.
My first character was a dwarf critic, who I named Uncle Rab, after our Uncle Rab, who taught us how to play D&D.
Tabletop role-playing games, or TTRPGs, are by definition social. It's about getting a group together regularly to collaborate toward a common goal. And boys like to play. When it comes to social emotional learning, we need more strategies that appeal to boys. Boys account for 70% of school suspensions, and they're less likely to reach out for mental health support when they need it, especially as they get older. One of the reasons why kids love TTRPG is because it gives them agency and autonomy in a safe space. As one kid put it, you can do anything, unlike real life. To engage in role play is to practice empathy. You have to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You have to think based on what my character thinks, their backstory, their motivations, what drives them, what would they do? And how does what my character does impact what the rest of my adventuring party will want to do? But right now, most TTRPGs are written for older teens and adults. They have really thick rule books and some adult content. So typically, it takes a trusted adult who knows how to improvise, who can onboard new kids into the game. For me and my kids, that was Uncle Rob, a close college friend of mine who was visiting from out of town. He ran our first game for us, complete with pirate voices, arr, and my kids were instantly hooked. But after Uncle Rob went home, we couldn't find any kids who knew how to play. We thought this was such a missed opportunity that my older son and I went to a hackathon, a weekend-long event where people come together to prototype and pitch startup ideas. We pitched building an RPG platform for kids. We formed a motley crew of strangers, including an experienced game master and his wife, who's a therapist. She pointed out to us the large body of research that demonstrates the therapeutic and social-emotional benefits of role-playing. Not surprisingly, TTRPGs have been shown to increase players' creativity and empathy. In one recent example of creative and empathetic character creation, an 11-year-old, a Gen Alpha himself, created a new character that he named Gen Beta iPad Kid, whose full strength is unleashed with a +2 rage bonus every time his iPad dies. I feel your pain, iPad Kid.
No, but it's not. She's probably the presenter.
But I thought TTRPG, that's just for fun, because how could anything this fun be educational? But then I realized I had actually been watching my kids use roleplay to learn a very difficult skill for years. Guangdonghua, or Cantonese, is a notoriously difficult language to learn, because even a slight change in tone can completely change something's meaning. So as a Chinese school dropout, I might have accidentally just said Guangdonghua, meaning a frog that is shiny and frozen. This is why I had to hire a Cantonese teacher for my kids. So when she first came over, I expected to hear the hum of rote memorization, like from what I remember as a kid. And instead, I hear crazy laughter. So I look over and I see a menagerie of stuffies out, just like this handmade grandpa snowman with his wrinkled carrot nose, asking his grandkids, "Sipped your fine, Maya? Did you eat yet?" And I thought, if roleplay can be used to teach Cantonese, why not coding? So we started integrating TEDxUC into our coding classes, where the students actually live roleplay the game, embodying the characters, using the game mechanics, building out the conflicts, and then taking those details and programming them into a computer game. It has been a hit. And the best part, students have told us that what they've enjoyed the most is making creative solutions to problems and helping their teammates. Now, we want to build on the success of our experiences and on the ideas from our hackathon win in order to help teachers everywhere incorporate role-playing into their classrooms. The beauty of role-play is it is a blank canvas. It does not have to be about dragons and wizards. We can write all kinds of adventures. In fact, our first lesson quests were rooted in Bengali mythology. And our most recent quest meets California social science standards by teaching students about local indigenous people. We can write lesson quests about practically any academic standard. But I have to first address the elephant in the room. Now, there's probably some tiger moms out there thinking, but will role-playing help my kids get into college? Is it gonna help them get a job? And I say that as a delinquent tiger mom myself, who tells my kids, you don't have to practice piano, but you need to rehearse your TED Talk. Fortunately, there are many success stories that we can look to. There's one in particular that's close to my heart. A few years after college, I found out my favorite TV personality was going to run for president. Now, he was kind of arrogant, and I didn't agree with a lot of what he said, but I was so taken by his charisma that I approached him at a book signing, and I said, "Can I work for your campaign?" I was so full of adrenaline, though, I rushed off before I could hear what he had to say. A friend later told me, "He asked you, well, do you write?" So that TV personality turned political candidate was none other than Stephen Colbert. This was 2008. Remember, typewriter, I'm old. This was long before he became a beloved late-night talk show host. And he played a character on a show where he was a caricature of a newscaster with a perpetually raised eyebrow who made us laugh and made us think about the day's news. Stephen started playing TTRPG when he was 13, and he was obsessed with D&D throughout his teenage years. Stephen, if you're watching this, yes, I do write. Please consider this TED Talk to be my belated job application. But let's say you're thinking, I don't want my kid on TV. Who else? Well, how about Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn? It is known as the professional social networking site. But given his D&D experience, I consider it more of a digital archive of character sheets, rolled to be recruited. Reid started playing when he was 9 because his babysitter introduced it to him. And he has credited it with teaching him valuable entrepreneurial lessons. In fact, Reid was so successful as an entrepreneur and so empathetic that he was the first major funder of the crisis hotline that I mentioned earlier and enabled it to launch. I believe that role-playing games should be a part of every young person's life, whether at home or at school, where we can reach kids of all different backgrounds. Now, at a time in a world with so many enormous problems, playing games might feel frivolous. But for my kids, and for all of our kids, what could be more important than arming them with the creativity and the empathy that they will need to tackle those problems head on with the full strength of their humanity? Thank you.